or women in general, but it feels more like you're supporting white women rather than black women. So she's saying that she would like to see these black rappers on these black shows, do you know what I mean?
They're not going to a white platform with no numbers, right? The Chicken Shop date, at the point where they're going to it, had massive numbers. The rappers that went on before, often she actually knew those people, so there were people that she knew from school and stuff like that, from the area. She knew them. These rappers don't go in these platforms where they only have 5 man watching them. That's just business for them. That's
fair enough, but the whole point is that like we need to start supporting.
Bro, I don't want rappers as much to be like, I don't understand why they're the front of the conversation. I'd rather have people like academics, black academics as well. Loads of people who've written books and researched for these things for years. They're never spoken about on social media. It's ridiculous.
Welcome to another episode of Unusual Suspects. We have the Unusual Suspects and we have a very special guest. We have Cheyenne with us today.
Hi.
It's time we had a female on the panel.
It's about time.
You get me?
Female energy.
Yeah, the female energy.
Get that perspective.
You get me? Obviously we've got Corey in the building as well. No Josh. It's probably vacating with the Bay.
Where actually is Josh?
He's with the Bay.
He's doing Love Island.
It's
cute still.
He's on that lovey-dovey.
Big up you, Josh. I'm trying to be like you, man.
One day.
I'm trying to be like Josh when you grow up.
Well, yeah, anyway, today's topic is, can you be pro-black but date outside of your race? Now, the reason why I wanted to see what you lot thought was because I was watching a podcast about it and they were talking about how, you know, like today's the Black Lives Matter movement, all these kind of things, being a person who is about the progression of black people and our movement and what we're doing and fighting for equality and stuff. Can you do that but have a partner who isn't of that same struggle? Do you know what I mean? So for example, like let's talk Childish Gambino, that video, the This Is America thing. So everybody was feeling that, it was like, yeah, boom. But then they found out that his wife was white. And then they're like, would that narrative get pushed as far if his wife was black? Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to know what you lot thought. So first of all, we'll just answer the question and then we'll get into it, yeah? So we'll go down the line. Can you be pro-black? And
it's a tricky one. On one hand, I'm like, no, you can't, because it's like you're in the struggle, but you're fighting for one thing, but at the same time, you're kind of going against what you're fighting for.
Right.
In one sense, you understand what I'm saying?
Right. Okay. So you think that your lady has to be black?
It doesn't have to be. You could just not have a partner. But at the same
but I mean, like, because you know, when you become a role model, you know that you've got people looking at you, and if they're looking at you as somebody as an advocate for change and equality and that, and then they're looking at your lady and they say, "Rah,
she's not had that same upbringing. She's not. She's not in the struggle. It's like, what are you really trying to tell me who's in the struggle?
Exactly.
Should I just go and get someone who's not in the struggle for me to get out of the struggle, basically?
No, it's hard. What do you think, Shai?
With it, like, it's a really good question, but for me personally, like, you can be pro-black, because the way I see it is, like, as much as you can say this, but you can't help who you find attractive at the end of the day, and just because that person might not be the same skin colour as you, doesn't mean that you can't advocate, you know, like pro-black. Like, I'm very pro-black, but I live in a predominantly white area. I live in Essex, so most of my surroundings are, like, the men that I've dated have been white. I've dated black guys as well, but just you condition to your surroundings and what you're attracted to. So no one could ever say to me, you can't advocate like pro-black, because I am pro-black. Like, I'm mixed race.
Let me ask you then. So, do you believe, like, a sub question? Do you believe that love is a choice? Can you choose who you love? Because some can say that, yeah, your environment made you this, but if you still want something else, for example, you know, you wanted a black guy because you're pro-black, you could find that. You know what I mean?
Of course, so, like,
do you believe that?
It. Like, love is a choice, because love is a commitment. Love is something you work on. It's not just something, oh my God, like, we're going to be together. Like, it's something you work on anyway. So if I was to take myself out of my area, out of my surroundings and my comforts, because that's what I know, and I moved somewhere else, and it was predominantly like a black area, then of course I will then find myself like dating men of colour. Do you know what I mean? So you couldn't, like, nobody could ever turn around and say to me like, you can't be pro-black. Why can't I? I've got, like, I am black, you know. So for someone to say, oh, you can't because your man's white or you're dating someone white, like, for me that's nonsense. But I get it when you're setting a standard and you're trying to, you know, preach this, you know, be pro-black, everything else. Like, I get it, because if you're being an influence to those looking up to you, and then you'd be like, oh, actually, well, if you're dating a white woman, that's all a load of crap. I get it, but at the same time, it's, people have to understand and dig a little deeper to what it actually means being pro-black.
Okay. What do you think, Sean?
Whoa, what am I right?
Hold on, I'm coming to.
He's saving me for last.
I'm waiting for a reason. I'm going to grind for a reason.
There's very obvious reasons.
No, I'm going.
Personally, I think yes, because like
you can be pro-black and date outside your race.
100%, because I feel like what like the whole idea of like Black Lives Matter and stuff is about fighting for equality for black people, and if you're equal, that should mean that like you're equal to everyone, so you can like be with whoever, right? Do you know what I mean? Without any like stigma or anything attached to it.
Okay, so then what do you say to people that will say, all right, but if you're pro-black, it's about the progression of black people. So then to date somebody who isn't black, you're then gonna have children with that person who isn't black. So then how are you aiding to the progression of black people?
Educate them. Sorry.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you educate people, so it's like, even if I say I had like I do, my daughter, she's mixed race, but her dad's white, and it's as long as I always advocate to her and teach her like pro-black, you know, we've got black enough, like we are black genes, simple as that. And as long as how you educate the people around you and everything else, it doesn't really matter who you are with, like in my opinion. So,
okay.
It's not necessarily about you, it's the message that you're putting across in it. Okay.
Alright, so now I'm with you, The reason why I saved you to last is obviously, like when we was talking in the group chat, you was like, I don't know if you can put your point across, but do you feel like you can be pro-black and can be seen as pro-black even though you're not visibly black?
I mean, yeah, well, I'm from a neutral perspective, obviously, but I've personally myself done a lot of research into civil rights, particularly in like America. And one of the biggest sort of vectors of change is having what people who are white on your side of the argument.
Right.
So for example, if you look at a lot of the, you know, Martin Luther King protests and whatnot, a lot of the people who are even on the front line were white people who they got on their side. Because at the end of the day, if you're divided completely and you don't have, you know, you don't make a bridge to the race that you're kind of fighting against, because white people were mainly the oppressors, then you're not really going to get any change done. I personally think that in terms of the progression of, you know, equal rights, I think it's pretty backwards. It sends you backwards, because when we were back where times were way more racist, you know, race mixing and that kind of stuff was a racist topic. Like when you see a black man with a white woman, you know that led to lots of, it was a problem, right? And so you're kind of bringing back that same division, but sort of the other way around.
Okay, all right, but for example, you got somebody in the public eye who's seen as an advocate for change and all that, a black man, red carpet comes, man has got the white thing next to him, do you feel like that would help the black women who are also a part of the same movement? Or does that invalidate them? Because you've got, because I mean, in every single aspect, you look at the music industry, actors, anything, a lot of them, they're big, they have this big platform, they all say they're for the progression of black people, but they're never standing next to a black woman. Do you know what I mean? So how does that help the progress? Well, if it's sort of invalidates.
I don't think that it's always the case. I don't think, like, we like to focus on people who don't have black wives or black girlfriends, because they generate the most clicks, like they generate the most outrage.
Right.
But also, I don't feel like black women have to rely on men for validation. Like we should be celebrating more black women, and you know, in the media and whatnot. Like we like, so there was this whole ZZ Mills thing, which is like, oh, the
ZZ,
like, whole outrage there. at the end of the day, I think it makes more sense to use your platform to promote, because she always complains about why aren't you going on black shows and whatever, then doesn't follow that up with lots of black shows that you
I thought you were gonna come on a good one.
I was gonna come and support.
I'm not supporting. No, because she makes a good point, but the way she articulates it is so destructive. So, for example,
I think that's just like
but you can't.
Something people always say about black women in general.
No, that's not the case though. I feel like you know what it is. It's like when black people are passionate, there's a different way we like show that rather than white people, and I think the way we show it is been deemed as aggressive. So like even me, like when I'll be sitting in class or whatever, I might be having a debate with someone, but for some reason, like I'm being told that I'm having an argument with them. Yeah, no, absolutely. So obviously, what happens, especially with black women, you're seen as the crazy loud sort of black woman when just because they're arguing their case. That's not my point. My point is one, we shouldn't be relying on men to be, you know, advocates of women, right? You should be promoting. You should be promoting them. I don't see her platform promoting as much as it's being. No, it's not. It's mainly devoted to bashing. So it's mainly devoted.
I subscribe.
So like it's mainly devoted to bashing people, even other people who did nothing to her, like the Amelia thing. She did.
Wait. Amelia was like an example.
Background. You don't know about this. Basically, for those that don't know, Zizi Mills, she's a YouTuber and she has a platform called the Zizi Mills Show. Basically, she was talking about. Do you know about the chicken shop thing?
Yeah.
You know about so
big up Amelia though.
The lady on there. The lady on there, obviously she's a white lady, whatever, and all these rappers go on to their show, go to her show and they have a little date and there's all banter and stuff, and she's basically saying it would be nice if those rappers gave the black women who were YouTubers the same energy, went onto their shows, had interviews with them, So it wasn't meant out of malice. What it was meant out of, it was just a way of saying, all right, cool, it's good that she's got a platform, that's great. However, we're also here too. Do you know what I mean? So don't feel like you lot are just gonna go over there and then not come over here too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I see it from like a woman of colour, like the frustration, how frustrating it can be. Like I remember like being in school and you get like the white girls with the gorgeous hair and then it was just me and my picky frizzy hair and everything else, and it was just, Joe, like women don't understand their worth and their value, and it's like a woman can do something just as good, and then when it gets glorified by like a lighter woman, I can understand their frustration. However, with the whole influence and rappers and stuff, I feel like we need to, like you said, it's the whole bashing. Like we should just look at the men that are doing this and they're doing that, and not, oh well, he's just done it because she's a white woman. Do you know what I mean? Like
I don't think she was saying that. I think her point was just that, like,
I've not seen it, so I couldn't.
No, I think her
point
she
is saying that though.
No, she's not.
She's not.
Her point is, like it's good you're supporting like people in general, women in general, but it feels more like you're supporting white women rather than black women. So she's saying that she would like to see these black rappers on these black shows, do you know what I mean?
But that's business though, because they're not going to a white platform with no numbers, right? The chicken shop date, at the point where they're going to it, had massive numbers. The rappers that went on before, often she actually knew those people, so there were people that she knew from school and stuff like that, from the area. She knew them. These rappers don't go in these platforms where they only have 5 man watching them. That's just business for them. That's
fair enough, but the whole point is that like we need to start supporting.
Bro,
I personally, I don't want rappers as much to be like, I don't understand why they're the front of the conversation. I'd rather have people like academics, black academics as well. Loads of people who've written books and researched for these things for years. They're never spoken about on social media. It's ridiculous. It just means the arguments are so
because they don't have social.
Corey jumping.
Yeah, so, but why don't you promote those?
The different thing is, if you want people on your platform, you'd invite them to your platform.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is there anything being said about I've invited this person to the platform and they've said, nah, I'm not coming, I'm getting on this white person's platform?
Not that I know.
It's not going to be directly.
Giggs supposedly in his video he said, well, I don't agree with how he did the video first of all. That's why I side with Zizi in a way that she kind of did get bullied. I agree with that. But Giggs supposedly did do sort of smaller shows, and maybe because they're so small, you don't really hear about them anyway.
The thing about it is, I feel like, especially in that situation where he came out and responded to that, it's to publicly do that, I don't think that was cool.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I don't think that was cool.
PR.
It was PR. Do you know what I mean? It was. I don't think
he could have fully just been like, yo,
PR don't talk.
I don't agree. Like, this is not cool. Do you know what I mean? And could have messaged on the big man thing and been like, yo, this is not cool.
And that
however, another thing is, I think like,
why didn't she
a
mention
lot of
him?
the time. Because she
wasn't talking about him.
Exactly.
She
never mentioned Giggs. Giggs is the one that was like, no.
I just don't agree with how she did it.
Let me explain. The problem is, I feel like a lot of black men,
I think that
especially
whole
like
thing's probably just been blown out of proportion.
they're all way too defensive.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, and then the whole thing, they're like, I don't support black women, or my mum's black. But it's like, that's why do you have to use your mum as an example? Exactly. Because it's like, of course it's your mum. Forget that she's black, like it's your mum. So you should be able to say, alright, there's other black women I've supported. And I think that's the black problem.
Yeah. But yeah, well, anyway, we strayed on a big one.
So going back to your original question, it's just divisive. Like, at the end of the day, we're not meant to try and go into this arms race between who can be better, white people or black people. Like, it's breaking down barriers, and if you're just putting up barriers and division, what's the point?
But it's not necessarily an arms race. It's people that are standing up and saying, you know what, we need equality. My race does not have equality, so I'm fighting for equality for my race.
So why can't you fight that whilst having a white wife?
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I think that
flows into how some people within that race are going to see your fight for them.
Do you know what I mean? But how much support are you giving to the cause if your partner, maybe not even, because we all say man being a white woman, like Serena Williams is a white man, do you get me? So we can balance it both ways. But when you have a platform and you have people looking at you, you know everything you do is going to be scrutinized. So when you're with somebody who may not be the same race as you, people are going to say, especially people who are deemed as pro-black, they're going to say, how can you be pro-black but you're not for the progression of black people? Because you would multiply with a black person so you can continue the black race.
But then again,
do you know what I mean?
But then again, saying that, white privilege is a thing. So if you was to date someone white and they've got this white privilege, then they educate people around, and then you've got more like white people on your side, because then all the white following of the whoever's dating so and so, they're on that side. Then they start to learn to become pro-black. Then do you know what I mean? Then that way it's a fight together.
But that's more of a that's more business. That's more business.
No, but even in general,
exactly.
But even in general, like I'm not being funny. Look at my nan. Like that's why I'm like my nan's a little white woman, you know, and that's why I look and I think no one said like there's discrimination. How hard my nan had it to be pro-black, you know. And that's why people forget to think, oh yeah, we're saying this, but then my nan's white, right? My nan raised me, but I'm still so pro-black. Right. So being with someone white I feel like it takes away, like you can be pro-black. My nan was white, she was pro-black, and here I am, I'm pro-black.
So, but do you see, because for me, I think it's difficult just because, being seen and being about the progression of black people. I mean, I feel like, part of me feels like, there's certain rules, like, nobody really knows what it is to be pro-black. It just means certain things to different people. So to some people, it may be cool to date outside the race, but to others it's not. But that's because there is nobody. I don't think nobody knows what the goal is. Like, what is the goal?
I feel like too many people focus on seeing white people as like
as an enemy or something.
We have to like be against them, but it's a thing where we need to like learn to be together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what like pro-blackness is about being about. It's about like us living all together. There's no like, if I go for this job and you go for a white person goes for this job, there isn't going to be that thing where it's like, I know I need to be 2 times better than him because I'm black. Do you know what I mean? So I think like the problem is that we need to just stop. If you're pro-black, it doesn't mean you need to see white people as the enemy or anything like that. And if you don't see them as the enemy, then like dating them or marrying them or whatever shouldn't be that much of a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, but then I think just dating them quickly. When you go to like, people always talk about preferences, and they talk about how, sometimes it's psychological. Sometimes people say that, when you date a white person, have you heard that term like dating your oppressor type of thing? Yeah. So if somebody was pro-black and then they have somebody like that, and then people are like, nah, you're dating your oppressor, it kind of it foggies their message, because you can't tell whether they're for the cause or they're not for the cause. Do you know what I mean?
Are they their oppressors? Is that not just hyperbolic? Like, are they their oppressors? Like, there are people who aren't related to slave owners and that. Why should they get the same flag? I just feel like the more you sort of divide it, the more there is tension. Like, I don't want to like bring this sappy point of like, oh, we all got to love each other, but we kind of like, how do you think you can bring about change solely just through black people just doing whatever and white people doing just whatever?
Yeah,
Do you think you can actually bring about change?
There has to be some sort of.
Given that most politicians are white, given that most CEOs are white, given that most people who kind of control the way society goes are white, if you don't bring about changes in the way they think, do you not think that'll just stop any progress at all?
Yeah, but we can't bring about change if everyone solely focuses on the negative aspects of history.
Exactly.
So if all you think about in black history is slavery and oppression, that's what's going to be driving your thought process going forward. And if every white person you see as a black person, you think of them as an oppressor, there's no togetherness there.
Yeah.
So how are you then going to work with this person as a human being to bring about something good in the future?
And let's not forget, slavery didn't finish the other day. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't something that's far. Do you know what I mean? It's not that far out of reach. So there are still people that suffer mentally from the effects of it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. There's still people who have lived in certain areas and have had to go through certain things off of the back of that. So obviously when they do see somebody, they're thinking, wait, do you not know the history? Whether that person individually had a part to play or not, it comes down to the stem, the foundation, where they've come from, their family. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I'm so conflicted, because you can understand that point. But like what you lot saying is, if you're for the progress of, it depends whether you're for the progress of just black people or for the progress of everybody.
Humanity. It has to be humanity. It can't just be black people. That's still a sort of racist.
And that's divisive as well. Like,
but
I know what you mean.
I get the question. I get it.
But that's why I can't tell you or anyone here how to feel, because at the end of the day, I'm not from that sort of demographic. Like, I don't have those feelings, but it doesn't mean I can tell you how to feel. Like, I can't say, oh, you shouldn't be upset about what's happened in the past. But what I was saying is, in terms of progress in the future, and in terms like just general progress, it makes more sense to be less divisive, in my opinion.
I think for me personally, I think that there needs to be more just black stuff for now. Just because,
I don't mean they don't.
Do you know what I mean?
They don't show enough like black on black love. Like they don't glamorize that side.
Yeah,
and that's like
whenever a black person is doing something that's progressive, everybody wants to bring in the word inclusion, and they want to talk about, no, you need to bring everybody in. But when there's so many billion-dollar companies that did not involve inclusion, do you know what I mean? And so I feel like just to move us forward until we're not on a level playing field, but we start to feel the value that we actually have. Then cool, let's do the inclusion thing and boom, 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 and everybody, you know what I mean? But I feel like for a black person to be selfish in that aspect and think, you know what, being pro-black means I should be with a black person to multiply and I don't have an issue with that.
I think there needs to be more representation on black and black love. Like there 100% needs to be. Like I agree with you, 100% there.
But yeah, alright, we're gonna wrap up. So, what you saying?
Still, personally, I think you can be pro-black and still stay outside of your race, because it's a thing where, like, exactly. I don't think you choose who. Like, love might be a choice, but I don't think you choose like who you end up loving. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So like, it's a thing where if you end up loving, you don't want to now say like, oh, okay, I love this person, but I'm gonna go marry a black woman who I don't even really love like that for the cause, because it's like.
For the cause. Take that one. Bigger than the cause, exactly. Yeah. You say, man.
Like just like I prefaced earlier, it's not really for me to say, but like from my reasoning, I just feel like we should probably be less divisive. But you know, I don't think it's for me to say, but I just feel like it's a bit divisive and it's kind of backwards in terms of progression. But that's just my view.
Yeah, no, it is a backwards way to progress. However, you can be pro-black, but actually moving forward as a whole, like I completely understand why we need to glamorize like the whole black and black love and be pro-black just until we feel that we're at a level playing field, if that makes sense. However, love, you can't stop, like, you know, what's the word? You can't help who you fall in love with and all that, but if you are trying to move forward with the whole pro-black, you have to bear in mind like the representation, what you are representing, I guess.
I'm still 50-50 because like you gotta look at who you're sending that message to and what their views are, and some of their views might be a bit radical and some of them might be a bit free thinking, so you don't know who you're going to lose or who you're going to bring along with you as you're putting across your message. So it's a bit 50-50.
Yeah, I agree. I'm the same.
Can I just throw like a little spanner in the works? Let's say, pro-black, and with a black woman, but let's say I'm an actor, but like most of my interviews have been done with white people then. Wouldn't you rather that I was with a white woman, but I literally was out here supporting black? Do you know what I mean? Like, let's say
not necessarily. It depends on the platforms you're on.
Why not?
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't, like, either way, it depends what side you look at it. So some people say, yeah, cool, you're bigging up the black shows and that, but you're laying down next to a white woman. But then some others will say, yo, like, do you know what I mean? Some people say that. But
so in conclusion, you feel like having a white wife invalidates any of your actions.
It's all counterproductive.
In terms of what he was saying, that was my response to what he was saying directly. But for me, I'm 50-50. I can understand the argument, but you know, I can see both sides. So yeah,
I know we need another twist. Okay, because I know I sound like I'm backtracking what I'm saying, but so I'm pro-black. I'm mixed race woman. I've only ever been with like white guys. Like dated a couple of black guys. But now I want to move forward with the whole pro-black. So I've noticed that.
Over to the movement.
No, but it's not even. I'm not a sheep. I don't follow. However, I've noticed that in general, because of my surroundings and everything that I'm now gravitating towards, like the guys have been black. You know, and it's like, so rounding it up, like it is a choice as such. So
it's hard to, and it's also hard to speak to somebody who doesn't understand the struggle about the struggle because it's hard for them to get it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes. You know, you talk about stuff and it's just like you're not really with it. But yeah, that's what we think. Let us know in the comments below. We are the Unusual Suspects. Thank you, Shan, for coming in as well.
That's all right. Thank you for having me.
It's all good.